Hi, welcome to my channel, and today, as promised, we are finally getting around to the castle build that I mentioned in the last video. So this is for the Goth family, and I did think about making it like all black. I went with a grey theme instead of black, just because the castle kit, the black that it comes with is just not ideal, I guess, just because it has this weird line going through the middle of it, where it's like, it's slightly darker on top and slightly less dark on the bottom. Like there's just a small line going through it where it changes color, and I'm not sure why it does that, particularly so harshly, and not like, you know, it's not like a gradual thing of, oh yeah, it's a harsh line and I don't really like it, and it looks a lot more obvious on the black swatch than the grey swatch. So I ended up going with the grey swatch just because I thought it looked nicer. If it was like a better black swatch, I definitely would have done that, because, you know, it's the Goth family, it should be in all black. But yeah, I just really didn't like the black swatch, so yeah, ended up going with a different one, with the grey one. I did really struggle. You can probably see me like struggling with the layout just because this is based off of like a real floor plan, which I know sounds ridiculous because it's a castle, but it's based off a castle, I think it was in Michigan or something. I'll throw up a picture here. So yeah, you can see that's what I was going off of, so you can have an idea of what we're building. The inside is completely different. Like I didn't follow the inside floor plan at all, just because I've said in previous videos it's really difficult to follow an actual floor plan, just because it's the Sims and it's so picky. I think I said again in the last video that I spent so long just trying to get the staircase in, because we don't have like actual spiral staircases, and the staircases we do have just don't work. Not that they don't work, that's not right, but they are very picky and they don't like to do certain things. And yeah, so I had to cut all of me doing the stairs out because it was just taking way too long, and yeah, it was just useless. And also, while I was filming this, I was like quite unwell at the time, so I ended up cutting out some of it because it was taking me so long to do it. While I was doing it, I was just like, I would do like one thing and then like sit for a few minutes just being sick, and then do another thing and then just sit for a few minutes. So I had to cut out a lot. I also ended up cutting out that I changed the roof. Like you can see at the moment that I'm doing like actual roof pieces and stuff and putting on things like that on the turrets. That actually ends up changing. The only turret that keeps its roof thing is the one on the top right hand side. That's the only one that keeps its thing. The other ones all end up with like actual the fencing that it uses, which I think it just looked better, even though that's not what the picture looked like, and that's why I went with it, because of the fact that the roof can't be made as custom as like a real life roof, that it just didn't look as good. So yeah, I ended up changing it. But yeah, this build did take me so long. That's why you may be wondering why this video is only like 10 minutes or whatever if I'm saying it took me so long. That's because this is only the exterior part of the build. We'll be doing the interior next time, and it is all filmed and all that, and it's all like ready to go, but I needed to split them up because otherwise it's going to be like a 30-minute video, and I just didn't feel like doing a 30-minute video. So unfortunately, it does mean that you won't be getting a tour of the build this time around, but in the next video you'll get a tour of like literally everything, and I made like a fun little video for you guys and things. So I think it's nice. I think you'll like it. But I don't know if you can see now on the outside that line I was talking about. Like you can kind of see, like it's just so weird. Like it's not a solid thing or like a gradient or anything. It's just like bits where it's darker, and for some reason that's just what it was like. I don't know why it's like that, it just is. And yeah, on the black it's really noticeable. So yeah, that's why I went with the grey swatch, because I thought it was less noticeable at least. But yeah, I do like how this came out. I was so unwell at the time that I hated it while I was building it. I was like, this is terrible, this is like the worst thing I've ever done. And I did change the windows a lot. Like what you're seeing now, I don't think is what the final thing is going to be, because I went back and forth so many times, just because obviously I wanted this to be a lot about the castle kit, but the castle kit doesn't come with just enough windows. Like I really wish it would have at least one round window, because that's what you need on a castles, have round windows. And we do have some in game, so I used one from the wedding pack, and that I think works. It's just not quite the right color. Like obviously it's a white instead of a gray. That's why I wish they had actually brought out a round window so it actually matched properly, but whatever, it doesn't. So I just had to make do with what I had. And obviously, like I said, this is just for the Goths. Like it's a castle they deserve, so I wasn't too concerned about the packs I was using. I was more concerned about like making it as good as possible, I guess, and making it look like all fancy and nice, and yeah, just just making it a castle, isn't it? So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it came out. Like, I really do like how it looked. I think it was more of a trust the process kind of build, especially with things like, oh yeah, the fact that like the turrets and things had to be changed, and yeah, I made some changes off camera just because I was so unwell. I can only like apologize that not absolutely everything is on there, but I just, yeah, I really wasn't feeling great, and it was just, I needed to do some off of camera to get it actually done. But yeah, I'm still pleased with how it came out, and I can only apologize for cutting out bits of it, but I hope you don't mind too much, especially because, yeah, next one, I'll make up to you with like a really fancy video. I think you'll like it a lot. At the moment, as far as I can see, I'm just working on the columns, and I was really struggling with one of the columns. Like, I don't know if you can see me struggling to put it on, because it just did not want to go there at all for whatever reason. Like, it was like, no, I'm only going on the ground. I will not be going there. And I just don't think it looks as good, but that's just because that's what this game is like with columns, you know what I mean? Like, it's just frustrating and annoying with its columns. It really wants to be like as difficult as possible and just make me upset. So I had to make some adjustments to the shell so that the columns actually made sense, because I would rather they make sense than stay 100% true to like the original floor plan, especially because I knew that I was going to change it anyway. But I went with semi-minimal landscaping. Like, there's still a lot of landscaping and stuff, but it's like, it's not as grand as the castle could be, you know what I mean? Like, if usually you'd expect like a whole like huge courtyard of fancy gardening and landscaping and stuff, so it is somewhat minimal, at least in terms of like what a castle would be expected to have, I think. But I also, you know, it's on a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek, so I didn't want it to be too much. Like, I still wanted it to somewhat fit in the neighborhood. The only thing is, this is my building save, so all of the buildings around are ones that I've done. Like, you might notice there's one to the right of this build that I did. Don't look at it too hard, it's very bad. I was trying something out, it didn't work, but it wasn't the right thing. But yeah, a lot of the things in this area are mine, so it's hard to be like, oh yeah, this matches, because of course it matches my build. I built it. It's got all of my like signature touches and stuff. But yeah, I tried to add some more in the front, but I just couldn't find a way to add it and like have it still make sense, I guess. Like, it just wasn't what I was looking for, I guess. So yeah, I just ended up going with like bushes and like having some flowers in like the indent parts and stuff. And I thought about using the red bushes from Island Living, just because I feel like red roses are kind of like, I don't know, it makes me think of castles. I have no idea why. Like, I genuinely can't think of why that makes me think of roses. Maybe it's just because of things like like Alice in Wonderland and stuff, like painting the roses red and all that. But I ended up going against it and like just putting in some like kind of minimal, just I think it was like the pale low-lying flowers and like just some extra bushes and stuff, and just a few things to make it like still very nice, but just not as grand as it probably could be. But like I said, I'm still pleased with how it came out. I do like it. I think that it's a good castle for the Goths specifically, where it's like, it's still very regal, I guess, because obviously the Goth family are supposed to be like incredibly wealthy. I don't know how much you guys know about the lore. Maybe in the next video I'll talk about the lore if you guys are interested, between like the Goth family and the land grabs and why they are so wealthy and things, because obviously all of that is explained in The Sims 3, but they don't really talk about it in The Sims 4. So I guess if you don't know the lore already from the previous games, then you aren't going to know it from this either. But yeah, I know, if you guys are interested in knowing about it, then do let me know and I will definitely talk about it. I probably will anyway, honestly, just because I find it interesting, but I'm someone who enjoys The Sims lore anyway. I know not everyone's here for it, and I think especially in The Sims 4, it's less big. It's like it's less big part than it used to be, like what the other games were basically. But just to give you a small hint towards that lore, in The Sims 2 it's actually implied that, or actually maybe outright stated, I can't remember, I haven't seen it in a long time, but that Mortimer Goth created the elixir of life, which is basically what like de-ages your sim and makes your sim age down, and that's what's like sold in the aspiration store and stuff. It's the same in Sims 2, that's what's sold there, but it's very, very different in The Sims 2. So yeah, if you'd like to hear more about that, let me know in the comments. But very, very high chance that I am just going to cover it anyway, because it's just so interesting to me, because it's really not explored as well as it should be in The Sims 4, and that's a shame. But I'm currently doing the terrain paint, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna see me doing that again, because it does disappear and I end up having to do it all again in the next video. But yeah, anyway, with all that being said, like I said, this is just about the exterior today, so in the next video we'll be doing the interior stuff, so I hope you look forward to that. But with all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!